Market update here on the 28th. So let's start off here with Tesla. I'll get to Nvidia here in a second. Obviously, Nvidia is the stock of the day. Got earnings after the market, and it's going to be the biggest earnings in probably years, where we're at in the market and everything. So Tesla here, again, the only reason I go over this a lot is I like to trade Tesla a lot, and I have position in it. So let's just go ahead and get into it. We have AR1 here down. We got this big move back here on Powell, and then we get this move down. Here's what I don't think this is. I do not think this is 5 waves right here. I don't think that this is. I think there's 2 possibilities here. The possibilities are this is A, B, C, like that, and we're going to see this, and then like that if Nvidia beats earnings, but that would still be overall bearish. We would still come down here, and that could be a wave 2 or a wave B. That's the first possibility. The second possibility, which is looking more likely to me, is that this is some kind of nested move. So what I mean is this is 1, 2, maybe a third wave down here, and who knows, could keep on going lower than this. The 1.61 fib is at 200. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this up here. So if this is a nested move, it would make sense because this would be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and then this would be wave 4 right here. And maybe this chops all day and we see a move down here for wave 5. And overall wave 3, bounce, and then come down here to that 200 level, or maybe even lower than that, depending on how far this wants to go. We still have not concluded if this is an ABC move or if this is a 1, 2, 3. If it's a 1, 2, 3 and we're getting a 5-wave move down, then again, I've gone over this in the past video, I'm looking all the way down here at 155. Because that just means we got corrective, corrective, and then an impulse started to come down here. So we're going to learn a lot today. If I were to lean one way on this based on what I see pre-market and where this finished at last night, I would say that this is bearish and it's not going to make that expanded flat. You can see here we finished below the 20. The 50 is up here. We have the 200 down here. So the path of least resistance is down here to the 200-day moving average, around 203. So I would say that is the most likely. Let's look at the weekly now. And then you also have the weekly 20 right here at 197. So that's going to be some big time support as well. If we break that, there is no support. You do have weekly demand here down to 180, but 197 is the last support that I see on the chart. And that would mean we're probably definitely, well, very good chance we're coming down here to could be like 160, 170, 150, whatever, down here. So watch out on Tesla today. I think holding puts here is actually a pretty good play. It's a bearish chart right now, and even if it does come up here, you could stop out, but I think your puts are still going to be profitable as long as you have some good expiration / strikes, because I think we're coming down here to 200 no matter what to fill this gap. So that is Tesla. I guess one other thing that I went over in the last video, if you do come down here to 200, there's still a possibility. And you can see here also 246. Look at that, 197. Where did I just say the weekly 20-day was at, or the weekly 20 SMA is at? Right at 197. And look where that hits. If it hits 197, 246. So it's very possible that this does come down and we end up getting overall A, B, and C going into the supposed rate cuts. Don't mind the date right here. If that happens, it's very possible that this is actually a WXY move as well. This appears to be WXY. This would be, no, I take that back. It's not WXY. So we'll see what happens. Few different patterns to play out. It's looking to me, though, if I had to guess, it's looking to me like this is 5 waves. I said in the last video that if this is a B wave, it's got to have the same time length as the A wave. The A wave took 3 days, about 3 days. This B wave only took like an hour. A B wave does not take that short of time. Therefore, I think you can pretty much say this is a second wave. Unless we get that expanded flat. If we get that expanded flat, then it's a valid B wave. Because the time length on that would be 6 days. And that means we would come down after that, probably within the next 4 days, so like September, early September down here. So if you're long, you really want to see that expanded flat. You want to see it regain the 20 DMA, come up and touch the 50 DMA before coming back down, because that makes it an ABC move. If we go down straight down today, it's more than likely it's a 5-wave move. So pretty big explanation on Tesla, but it's pretty important if you're long. Nvidia, I went over this on the long-term time frames. It's pretty clear it's in a 5th wave, so I can go over it real quick. Let's get rid of the moving averages. So 1, 2, and I can just show you how I figured this out. 1, 2, parallel line. Where does it go through? Right there. Wave 3, wave 4. So this has got to be wave 5. You can actually take the second wave, and you can see here it goes through that. That's wave 3 right there. 2022 was wave 4. So we're definitely in a wave 5. So now you can go here. And this is kind of tricky though. I figured out where wave 3 and wave 4 are. But on this wave 5, it's hard to say. This was a big drop. I'm seeing a lot of bullish flow on the options. So I kind of go back and forth. This could be a wave 4 right here, or that could have been wave 5 right here. I would say it's probably wave 4. But, because again, we got this move up from the bottom, it looks like a 5-wave move. Pretty much looks like a 5-wave move. But then we get up here, and then this is really pretty tricky right here. I thought I had a good read on it, but it's pretty tricky. Like, this is definitely ABC, and then you get this weird ABC move right here. But then this looks like an ABC move also. So I guess if this comes back down, if this ends up being W, X, Y like that, then I'd be long, because that would make this wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So ideally, this sells off into the close before earnings, and then it pumps afterwards. Also, this is a daily supply zone. We're in a daily supply zone too. I don't think that really matters that much with earnings, because it doesn't really matter. If they beat earnings, it's going to go through the supply zone, obviously. But zooming out here, if this does end up being a B wave, again, this took a lot longer, a month and 17 days. So that tells me this is probably going to last till the rate cuts, this move up. So if that's the case, even if it sells off like this, there's probably going to be another move up, similar to Tesla. So maybe it goes up, sells off, and goes up again, and ends up being, who knows, ABC. But again, it has to be a month and 17 days. So that is September 22nd, which is right around the rate cuts. So again, we'll see what happens. If it pumps after earnings and then sells off hard, then I would say it's on the same trajectory as Tesla coming up here and then selling off. So we'll see what happens on Nvidia. But again, this is probably either going to go to new highs, so 147 would be my target if it's 5 waves, or it's going to end up being an ABC move and it's going to last another couple of weeks. So I think that Nvidia has got to be bullish from here. Let's go over QQQ. And QQQ is the same thing. A little bit different structure, obviously. It made a new low after the last move I went over. This is a big mess too, in my opinion. It's probably the same thing. I want to see, I would like to see this, but I don't think that's going to happen. That'd be a big drop, but I would like to see this be ABC and then go up. So on QQQ, potentially this is the bottom right here and this is the first wave, but I would not be in any QQQ. It's too risky with this structure, and then you also have this supply zone right above it. So yeah, QQQ is kind of a no touch for me now. Let's go over SPY. SPY will probably be a little bit easier to read. But I mean, again, it's just really choppy as well. Also in a supply zone, probably would no touch this either, but it has held the 555 bottom, so it's got a little bit more room. These are probably all going to end up going up. It's just a matter, are they going to go up today or are they going to sell off first? There might be one little swoop down, maybe like 1%, and then take off. So that's SPY. I'm not really doing that much on that one. Let's go over Microsoft. This held the this held the 20. And where's the 200? It held the 200 too. So it held the 20 and the 200 yesterday. So that's pretty bullish in my book. Up here to the 50. 433 potentially. Let's take a look at this on smaller time frames. So again, this took 16 days. So this is kind of showing the same thing. It might come down here to the demand zone here at 408 to 402 before going higher. But you could see something like this. And then in my opinion, it's probably going to go up. So it's probably going to go up here into the rate cuts. So I guess looking at all these other stocks, I would say up today is most likely, then down into early September, and then rise into the rate cuts. Pretty much for everyone I've looked at. So Nvidia, I'm seeing tons of bullish option flow, so I'm guessing it's probably going to go up on earnings. Let's look at the miners real quick. So Mara sold off a little bit. I originally thought this was going to be a C wave, but of course you get this choppiness, and now I'm thinking that this is actually going to end up being an expanded flat. And then I would expect another move up similar to the other stocks. That's kind of the pattern that looks like it's coming into. So down into early September, up into rate cuts and then sell off. So Mara, I think, is probably going to come down here. Let's see. Assuming it's already topped out. Yeah, I mean, like early September. You look at this, it's 19 days. C wave should be about half of that. Takes us to like early September. Probably down here 15, 16 bucks, and then rise up here maybe to 20 to 21. I own a little bit of FUBO, but all my orders are down in this area right here. There is a gap fill down here. I think this can go up to 240. I think it ultimately is going to go up to $4. So I'm just accumulating a little bit of this. They had some pretty good news as far as their subscription and some kind of lawsuit with like the bigger networks. AMD all comes down to Nvidia. So based on Nvidia, I would say it's probably going to go up. Let's go to the daily. It needs to hold 143. Right now, it's kind of in the middle. Yeah, in the middle of these. So maybe similar to the rest of them, I think this can get up here, potentially up to this gap fill at 174 eventually. But probably not much more, and then it's going to sell off. So expect that same kind of movement, I think. Early September. IWM, let's see, I haven't looked at this in a while. And look where that hit. That hit right into that supply zone, and look where it's at now. It's at 218. I'm seeing a lot of puts on this, very top of the range into supply. So we'll see what happens with this. Maybe it comes down and then retraces into Powell. I still would be surprised if it made a new high. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it made a new high. Let's zoom in here a little bit farther. And it looks to me like this is 5 waves. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4. So now I'm looking at demand zones. And there's a bunch of obvious ones. The most obvious is down here in between 200 to 210. I'm looking for one that's actually closer than that, but it doesn't look like there is any. So the earliest demand zone is actually down here at 208 to 205. You also have the 20 and the 50 right down here as well. So don't be surprised if there's a sell-off. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a 5th wave on IWM down here and filling this gap right here at 214. Maybe it'll just go to 214 and fill the gap. So 214 would be a good target here for a 5th wave, and then that would be wave 1 down. And then maybe it rises into the rate cuts and then sells off after them. So again, this is a retrace. Looks like a wave 1 down. We'll see. Probably retrace with the market and then sell off. So IWM, I think, has probably more than likely topped out. And if I'm wrong, then it's going to break above 228. Let's see here. Apple. So again, Apple, I still think it's going to go up here to 232 at some point. But you're probably going to get that same dip, I would think, on Apple. They're really just not letting this fall, though. It's above all moving averages. Last time I looked. Let's see. Yeah, it's above all moving averages, so extremely bullish. No reason to be bearish right now. Maybe it'll go higher than that. Who knows? Apple, no red candles in a long time, since August 5th, basically. So, kind of waiting on that one. Looks pretty bullish to me. Hopefully nobody bought the dip on this stock right here. PDD. Chinese retailer going straight down. Let's see what's going on here. This looks to me like a B wave, potentially. But anyway, it's lost all moving averages. Let's go to the daily. It's lost every moving average. So super bearish. Super bearish. And this also looks like a wave 3. So on this one, I would not touch it until you get some red or green candles on the daily. Otherwise, you're just catching a falling knife. Nobody knows on Chinese stocks where they're going to. If I were to guess where this is going to, I would say it's going to 80 bucks. Just based on this right here, I would say 80 bucks. And you can potentially buy the dip there. So this is probably going to end up doing, it's at 93 right now. Maybe something like that. Then you could buy the dip potentially and make some money, but Chinese stocks are no bueno. Meta 519. I haven't looked at this in a while. Let's get into Meta. So again, this is either the 5th wave or it's wave 1, depending on how deep this goes. And I originally was saying I was looking for something down here and it went way past it. So in my opinion, this is pretty bullish though, because this is a B wave. So if this sells off, I would be buying the dip probably around like 510. Because again, this is a B wave right here. And I might even look into buying the dip here. It's gone from 540 all the way down to 510 in like 6 days. So again, this is ABC. A, B, C. So even if that was the top, even if this was the top, then you're still going to get a retrace. It doesn't really matter. If you're looking at this from a 5-way perspective from here, you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Potentially 510 on Meta. Moving average wise, okay, you got the 20 right there. It's probably going to hit the 20. 512. I'd be surprised if it lost the 20. So I think Meta is still very bullish. Very bullish. And probably not a bad dip buy around here. Be careful, but I think this move should be finished. And at that point, let me zoom in here a little bit farther. This might have one more move up. It's kind of a short wave 3, if that is a wave 3. But assuming that's a wave 3, kind of looks like this might be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Potentially. But either way, this is a bullish structure. Because you're getting a corrective move down. Again, this is like my favorite pattern. Because you know it's not an impulse down. And so you should get at least a corrective move up to the 0.5 fib. which would take it all the way back up here to at least 525 minimum. So you can make like 3-4% minimum, but it can also go to new highs as well. So Meta looks pretty good to me for buying the dip. And don't know what else to look at right now. I think I'm just going to wait and do a more deep dive after Nvidia earnings, because it's kind of hard to tell exactly what is going to happen until we see where Nvidia goes today. Nvidia is going to tell us where the market is going. I'm expecting probably up until rate cuts, but I think Nvidia earnings is probably going to be bullish, but then an immediate sell-off into early September. If I'm wrong, then the sell-off already started. So if I'm wrong, then you're probably still going to get a move up into rate cuts. So leave me a comment. Let me know if there's any stocks you want me to look at. I've been really just focusing on the main stocks lately because I don't really see that much that I really want to trade. But yeah, leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates, and I will catch you in the next video.